Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you are seeing me, please consider liking and subscribing. We're real tech for real people. Today's video is the first video in about 3 weeks. I took that much time from the platform to recharge a little bit, and I want to say thank you so much to the community and family for all the amazing comments. All is well with me. I hope all is well with you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really missed you guys. Today's video will be a little bit of a 4K 8K Best Buy walkthrough video, which we've done many times in the last few years. They've been very important in the last year, as many of you cannot get to the store yourselves to see what the stores have to offer. Typically, I'll walk through these stores, I'll film and kind of read off and edit later on what I'm seeing and what the prices are. Typically, they're used not only to give you an insight into what the store looks like, but to show you the inventory as well as the new panels. We've kind of used this as a tool to show you as prices fall. But honestly, there's been very little in the store to show you as far as inventory, pricing, and there hasn't really been any new panels at all. The A90J OLED was in a few of the stores, but not all. No sign of the mini LEDs from Samsung or the QNEDs or any of the other panels. Everything has been delayed and pushed back. We'll talk about this today, as well as what I feel is important in regards to the state of the business of Best Buy. Okay guys, before we go into the short footage that I have of you or for you in Best Buy, there is very little to show. As I mentioned, I will talk over that footage as well. But being in Best Buy since the Danbury store, which I am in Connecticut, which is probably the best looking Best Buy I've seen as far as the amount of inventory and the way their displays were set up. But what I've noticed in the last, I don't know, even before I went to that store, was the complete decline of physical media. We all know it's heading in that direction. Being a lover of physical media, I find it so disturbing to see all of the empty shelves that are there. And kind of the theme of this video is going to be primarily on where Best Buy stands, kind of as a fulfillment center similar to Amazon's, and how most questions that I had for the staff were constantly pushing me towards their website. So as I'm going through these stores, I've been in one every week since I kind of left the platform for just a few weeks to take a little bit of a break. And I think I found that there was very little inspiring me. The fact that you're seeing new panels on larger channels on YouTube and smaller channels on YouTube, there's very little for you guys to see other than what you see on our platform or online. There's a very little tangible or hands-on product that you can walk in as consumers. It's very easy for us up here as YouTubers or whatever the heck we are, reviewers, amateur reviewers, to buy a product, show you a product, give you our thoughts, send them back. But without you guys being able to really walk through the store and get a little bit of a look of not just the image behind me, but the frame, design, get your hands on the remote. That seems to be something that is very much going away. Now, I'm going to talk through the beginning of this part. We are a discussion-based channel here. My videos are not going to get any shorter and going to keep doing things the way the channel has always been. We are a deep dive. That's why it's called Tech Therapy many times. But for me, as somebody who is a lover of physical media, not just Blu-rays and DVDs and things of that nature. Of course, I'm older, so I remember all of the amazing physical media. Physical media in the sense of also physical, tangible technology and equipment. Being able to get your hands on the receivers, the speakers, the TVs. We talked many times about Best Buy, Circuit City, Tweeter, all of these older places where you can go into a listening room. Now, Best Buy is still there. there. They still have, at least in my area, a lot of the Magnolia centers. But what I've seen lately has just been very outdated. They have not updated their inventory. It took them forever to get the newer Denons and Marantz receivers. They never carried the consoles really in store, which I thought was something that really hurt them. But they really kind of became, in regards to the consoles, PS5 and Xbox Series X, they really have become fulfillment centers. And that is great for you to go do curbside, things of that nature. But what is hard is, as a consumer that just walks around and wants to see the TVs, whether it's side by side, like I said, get your hands on the remote, see how thick or thin it is, see if it's got a wide stance or is it a center stand. A lot of these things are going away. So for me, when you go into your Best Buys, you'll see your three major: Samsung, LG, and Sony, and you'll see them in any particular order. They will typically have, especially Samsung, which I've noticed over the years, they will have their flagship right in the center, which was the 900TS, the 950TS. They have those proudly, the Q9FN. I remember when all these panels came out, the KS9800, all of these panels were there first. The Z9D, the LG OLEDs, and you saw them many times before you ever saw any reviewers, especially online, have them, let alone customers, be it me or any of the other that are in my group. But you're seeing is that's making it very difficult for you guys to actually go see them versus running out and buying them. Now, many people will tell you, in order to really experience these displays, the best thing you can do is purchase them and bring them home. Yes, that's true. That is not easy, especially if you're using panels anything other 55 inches. It is arduous to have things delivered. It takes time. You get them. And the returning of these panels is getting harder and harder. So for you guys to be able to go into a store, or for me to go into a store and be able to get my hands on these things and take a look at them and just even see the demos that are there, is a huge advantage. We've seen in the last number of years that TCL is barely there. Hisense is barely there. Vizio is not even there really anymore. But even in the Costco's and the BJ's and those stores that are in my area, they had the Vizio Quantum XP series a few years ago. They always had a P series. Now they've had the OLEDs. And lately, as I go into those stores, at least my local one, you'll see a 900H, a Q80T. These again are last year's models, and the LG CX, again, last year's model. And they would normally have those panels for you again to see. Everything is pushing you towards their websites, where they do have a much larger selection. However, those selections aren't quite as easy as Amazon. So you could go on there, search things out. If they're not perfectly written, it's hard to find. Best Buy is probably the best, other than Amazon, to go on their website. But as I go in to show you this footage, which is only a few minutes, is I found nothing interesting to show you. Not only that, but as this store is definitely transitioning into the new panels, probably the Q90A and the Q80, and getting into the mini LEDs, you can see that the prices aren't even there. So even as I pan down on these few minutes of footage, I'm just showing you whatever prices are scattered. And now they're not even clipped. They're on these little placeholders. They're not connected to anything. So they're all mixed up. They had an LG GX, they had a CX, a BX. The 900H is still there, 950H is still there, Q90T, Q80T, These are the ones I've shown on this channel over and over and over again. So just for reference, in February of last year, the end of February on this channel, I had the Sony 950H from Value Electronics, who were nice enough to lend that panel to me. Thank you to Robert Zahn. But to keep that in mind, that panel, the successor, the X95J, isn't coming out until maybe early summer. And the X90 they just received, and I'm going to get that TV to bring home, the smaller version of that one. But it just shows you how backwards things are. I'll be in Value Electronics tomorrow to film their C1 at 77 inches being unboxed, but things are just so behind. Last year in March, those panels released. So what that does is put the stores in a very tough situation. But what I find interesting, and Best Buy, especially like the A90J, several stores I was at actually had them, but they were not there on display. Sony would not let them display them. I don't know if that's to move out their inventory. But what's interesting is typically these manufacturers will put those panels up proudly. And it seems like there is either such a shortage that they want to sell every single one, or they're not allowing the stores to put them out. But it's interesting, when I'm at Value Electronics doing a video 3 weeks ago on the Q900A, and I'm still reporting in this video on the 900TS being, or the 900T being cheaper. Not cheaper than a 900A, but that was the big news, that one dropped out, and it's down quite a bit, which is great. But it just seems weird that they don't have those panels. And again, I'll show you at the very end. I know I'm talking for a long time. That is what I do. But again, as I was going through the, and I'll show you the very end of the video, even the last time I was there last week, I was showing the physical media section of the Blu-rays and 4K all mixed together, and other than the little cartons that they have up front and to the sides, the actual stands that many of us have walked through over the years, which has also shrunken down over the years, is literally non-existent. And you'll see that transformation from last week to this week at the very end of the video. And again, I'm going to go through the store quickly and show you a few prices. Also, you know, Best Buy, even though they've gotten rid of so many of their employees, there are so many employees just walking around. Doesn't make it easy for me to film or comfortable to film, even though I'm talking to these guys. But the real thing is there aren't any customers, at least around me. Now, if you live in other areas, at least in the US, where things are probably less strict, your Best Buy might be busier. I've gone on the weekends. I'm going at all different times. There is very, very few people. So you have a lot of the employees kind of walking around. So I ask them questions, and almost every question is pushing me to their website, or they open the website in front of me, where years ago they would go right to the computer, they'll open a laptop, or not a laptop, but an iPad, and they'll just show me something on the website, meaning you can do that yourself. It's easier to do that yourself, and it just kind of shows you there's very little purpose or need for it, which is a shame, because I still love to go in and see these panels and be able to recommend them to you, not just from what I see in stores like Value Electronics or the TVs that I bring home, but just by walking through the stores and show you what they look like. And I just feel like that is very much going away. We will see when these new panels come in. If they come in one shot, Samsung typically and LG, they'll put their new panels in, their old stuff will be gone, and we'll be done with an open box. But even those boxes that were on the floor, there was almost none of them there. And we'll see if they put in like the Q90A, but not the other panels or the Q80s or any of them. We'll see if they do the 900A at all this time. But this is a long video already. I will show you the footage. I wanted to say hello since I have not seen you in a long time. Tomorrow's video again will be the C1 77-inch, which arrives tomorrow at Value Electronics. You've seen the C1 all over YouTube. You've seen the G1 all over YouTube. But tomorrow, Value Electronics will be one of the first places to get the actual 77-inch. I'll be watching that one very closely. We'll do a video on that, but you'll see more videos. Unfortunately, I've also been behind in the comments, so if I've missed you, I apologize. Please look or leave your comments in the description, and I'll get back to you guys. All right, let's get to the footage. All right, guys, now we're in the store. This is the Sony Z8H at 75 inches. It is down to $4,500 from $5,000. This will be a little bit of a depressing Best Buy walkthrough. Again, I apologize for being so long-winded in the beginning, but there was really just nothing to show you guys. Most of the panels were off. and had either no content on them or they were missing. Here's the Samsung 900 TS. This one is the one that dropped the most, which is actually down to 4,000 at 75 inches. This is the one I saw drop the most in price. The challenge was there weren't a lot of prices around a lot of the different displays. You'll see them more clearly than I can. This is the 75-inch 900H. We're still going to do a 900H versus 950H using rtings.com's tools and discussion. There is the Sony A9J and A9G and the AAH. Again, panels that have been around for a long time, especially the A9G, which is also up in price at 77 inches. So again, we'll be talking a little bit through this video, more than even explaining the prices to you, as you'll see them even better than I can. There's another 900T and a 950TS to its right with a 900R on top of it. And again, the prices are coming down. They are not going to come down. There's a Q90T above this, which I think the Q90T is excellent. But a lot of LEDs have gone backwards. I have not been impressed with the mini LEDs thus far from Samsung. There's the AK950TS, which is still about $10,000, but it is their top of the line with the One Connect box. So what's interesting about this panel is it actually costs more than the 85-inch 900A. Here again is the A9G, which went up in price a little bit. As much as I love the A90J, the A9G is still an excellent panel. Now, showing you here in the floor, normally there's a bunch of displays there. Not so now, which maybe is them clearing out their inventory, but very little on the floor. There's the TCL 8 series of last year. Or I shouldn't say last year, I should say 2019. And we're going to just jump around here. You're going to see the Samsung 800T, which has also come down in price. But we're really going to be talking here. Even the OLEDs I could barely show you. They weren't where they were supposed to be. Some were missing. The Samsung lineup, again, we've gone over this many times. It's really easy for you to find them on the website, as the prices weren't even here for me to show you. They also do this thing too where they show you the prices, but they don't show you all sizes unless you go to the website or unless you're in front of the corresponding size. So you'll see the 900H or the 950H, but it won't have the price of the 75 unless you're in front of that particular panel. Here's the 900H at 85 inches. My wife just bought this for her office. Very impressive, actually, especially the larger you go. Can't beat the price at that size, but again, it's last year's. There's a quick peek at the AAH, actually. And we're going to be looking at the 950H. And again, we can do a discussion. A lot of you guys want me to talk about those two panels. Here's the 950H on the bottom and the 900H on the top. And again, great panels. And truthfully, I would be talking more about last year's panels if the HDMI 2.1 didn't delineate things so much. I'd be having you guys actually buy a lot of these older panels. They're nice panels, and I really don't feel anything has gone forward all that much this year. A little underwhelming, at least from what we've seen. We're still waiting for other panels to come out. Typically, you would see them here. We'll show a little bit of the OLED pricing, which I think right now the CX is going to be like the most popular TV to pick up because the C1 is incrementally better and the G1 is a bit better than that. I'm actually considering the 83-inch C1 over the 77-inch GX personally. But still can't beat that price for 77-inch OLED, especially one as fully spec'd as the CX. And here's the Nano Cell. To me, the Nano Cell, again, was underwhelming except for the 8K version. And the 8K version, I believe, will be what you'll see with the new QNED line. So hopefully we'll see those. We'll see those probably in Value Electronics as well. Now, quickly as I show you the OLEDs, I want to show you what the 4K Blu-ray section looks like now. This is the rack. There used to be 6 of these racks. Now there's just that one, and this is what it used to look like last week. Now it's empty. They were letting that empty out, but you can see the differences in the racks. And it's just a shame to see it just totally, completely disappearing. But I missed you guys. I'm sorry for the bleak video, but this is what I'm seeing in store, and I have to pass that on to you guys. But seeing the physical media disappear, as you'll see as I transfer back onto what it looks like right now, you see all those racks, and everything's been very mixed together. But the reason for the vid is what really is the point of these stores. And as we show you here, what it looks like now, it's pretty severe. All right, guys. Again, sorry for the bleak video. Love you guys. I hope all is well. I will see you in the comments. Take care.